After I caught my family laughing at me for being a pushover, I stopped paying their bills. Now they're on the brink of homelessness, and I'm living my best life, knowing they can't do anything. Up until a few nights ago, I was a wholesome 28-year-old called Sarah who believed my family loved me. But it all came crashing down with a simple notification. I was in the middle of making dinner when my phone buzzed. It was my cousin, and I smiled, because usually she sends me videos of this little ginger cat on Instagram. But the second I heard my mom's voice, my face fell. Sarah should consider herself lucky. She'd be absolutely nowhere without this family. My face turned hot, and I almost didn't want to keep watching the video, but I did. And as I watched the shaky footage, it was obvious someone had left their phone recording by accident. But there was no mistaking the conversation. I wouldn't even miss her if she died tomorrow. My dad laughed. That's our Sarah, but at least she's useful for one thing. The big bucks. More laughter followed. I clutched my phone tighter, feeling my knuckles turn white. If Sarah ever decides to stop sending us cash, my cousin, the one who'd sent me this video, said proudly, "We'll just play the family card. She's too much of a pushover to refuse. It works like a charm." I felt numb all over. They were discussing me like I was their personal credit card, a resource to be drained and manipulated as they pleased. For years, I'd been supporting them. Dozens of canceled vacations, shifts worked overtime, the PhD I never got, all to make sure they never went without. And this was their true opinion of me. A disappointment. A pushover. I breathed a sigh of relief because surely my cousin sent me this video because she was on my side. Right? Wrong. Suddenly the video disappeared and I got a new notification. This message has been unsent. My cousin had realized her mistake. Perhaps she was sitting somewhere right now, heart racing, praying I'd been too busy cooking to notice the message. I should have called her out immediately. Should have confronted all of them. But instead, I set my phone down. Because in the famous words of Kim K, I love when people underestimate me and then become pleasantly surprised. Except, their surprise wouldn't be so pleasant. At first, I curled up into a ball and stared at the white wall for a few hours. Their words echoed, Sarah should consider herself lucky. Complete disappointment. Too much of a pushover to refuse. And the worst part? They were right. I absolutely had been a pushover. I let myself believe that my dad's temporary cash flow problem somehow lasted 5 years and resulted in me paying his mortgage for all 5 of those years. My brother's college expenses, which he abandoned after 2 semesters, leaving me with the debt. My mom's constant emergencies that mysteriously aligned with my paydays. The family vacations I funded but couldn't attend because I was working extra shifts to cover their expenses. I'd always done it without question because that's what family does, right? But that single video destroyed every illusion I'd carefully constructed to make myself feel better about being used. And now I had the upper hand because they thought they'd gotten away with it. And their next payment was due in a few days. But this time, things would be different. The following morning, everything felt off. The sunlight filtering through my blinds was the same. My coffee tasted normal, but I felt like I was watching my life from a distance. It was as if I'd been living in a hazy dream and had suddenly woken up to reality. My phone buzzed with a text from my mom. "Morning, honey. Just checking in. Hope you're well." I stared at her message. Too normal. She never texted just to check in. Had I really never noticed this pattern before? Sure enough, minutes later. "Oh, by the way, rent's due soon. Can you transfer it by Thursday? Love you, BTW." There it was, the familiar pattern, but I wasn't playing along anymore. The love you at the end felt especially hollow now, just another manipulation tactic. Muscle memory kicked in, and I started to type my usual, "of course," or "no problem" response, maybe even apologize for taking too long. But instead, I deleted everything and simply replied, "I can't this month." I set my phone down and waited, heart pounding in my chest. 4 simple words that I'd never dared to say before. 1 minute passed, then 2 more. "What do you mean you can't?" I could sense her frustration through the screen. I'd never refused before, not once in all these years. I didn't respond right away. I savored my coffee, letting her stew in uncertainty. More messages came flooding in. "Sarah, this is serious. We're counting on you. You know we don't have other options right now." Then my cousin chimed in. "Hey girl, your mom's freaking out. Everything okay?" I nearly laughed. Is everything okay? Everything was perfect, because I decided I deserved to take my life back. I took a deep breath and replied, "I have some unexpected expenses this month. Can't send anything," followed by a shrug emoji. No lengthy explanation, no apology. The silence that followed told me everything I needed to know. For the first time in years, I'd said no, and they didn't know how to respond. My mom was obviously struggling to find the perfect manipulation tactic, but I, for one, wasn't having that problem. I knew exactly how I was going to get her. I knew all I had to do was play the long game. Finally, her response arrived. "Sarah, what do you mean unexpected expenses? What could possibly be more important than your family?" There was the guilt trip, their favorite strategy. I didn't reply. I set my phone down and went to make more coffee, giving her time to spiral further. Less than a minute later. "You know your brother can't cover rent on his own? If he gets evicted, that's on you." The brother card. Classic. They always knew exactly which buttons to push. But this time, something had changed within me. I felt nothing but a cold clarity. Then, "We raised you, Sarah. We took care of you when you had nothing. Is this how you repay us?" My jaw clenched as I gripped my phone tighter. When I had nothing, I never had their support. I put myself through college, working nights while studying days. I worked multiple jobs to escape their household. The moment I started earning decent money, they latched onto me like parasites. I had nothing because they took everything. They had rewritten history to make themselves the heroes of a story that never happened. My phone buzzed again. "Sarah, sweetie, don't do this. We're family. Your mom's just upset. You know how she gets. Just send the rent money and everything will be fine." Everything will be fine? For who? For them? While I continued to sacrifice my future? I set my phone down, my heart racing. I needed to breathe. I went to the kitchen, poured water, and stared at the wall clock. I could feel something shifting inside me. For years, I'd feared this moment, scared they'd hate me, abandon me if I ever stopped paying. But now I knew the truth. They never loved me. They loved what I provided, and now they'd show their true colors. Buzz. I picked up my phone with steady hands. A message from my dad. Sarah, I don't know what's gotten into you, but this is completely unacceptable. You're being selfish. This family needs you, and you're acting like some entitled brat. Grow up and do the right thing. There it was, the final mask slipping. No more fake sweetness or pretend concern, just demands. The facade had crumbled faster than I expected. As I stared at his words, another notification appeared. A voice message from my cousin. My hands trembled as I hesitated, thumb hovering over the play button. Something told me this would change everything. For a long moment, I just stared at that little play icon. My heart pounded. My cousin never sent voice messages. She typically delivered her passive-aggressive comments via text, with just enough artificial sweetness to trigger my guilt. Slowly, I pressed play. Her voice came through, sharp and irritated. Sarah, listen. I don't know what kind of game you think you're playing, but this isn't funny. Your mother is losing her mind. Your dad is furious, and honestly, I don't blame them. You've always been, well, a little ungrateful. But this is beyond selfish. My stomach tightened, but I forced myself to keep listening. You have a decent job, don't you? You make more than any of us. You don't even need that money. Meanwhile, your family is struggling. And what? You just wake up one day and decide you don't care anymore? A bitter laugh. You owe them, Sarah, after everything they've done for you, after all the sacrifices they made. They gave you life, and now you're just going to walk away, pretend they don't exist? What kind of daughter does that? She exhaled sharply, and I thought she was finished. But then, you know what? Her tone darkened. If you really want to be that kind of person, fine. But don't expect them to forgive you. Don't expect to come crawling back when you realize how much you need them. Because once you cross this line, there's no coming back. The message ended. Silence. I sat with my thumb hovering over the replay button. My ears rang and my hands felt numb. The audacity was almost impressive. Not a single word of concern for me, just anger that their financial support system was threatening to collapse. I should have felt scared or panicked. I should have been scrambling to fix things and apologize. But instead, I felt calm. More than calm, I felt liberated. She had just confirmed everything. They didn't love me. They didn't respect me. They didn't even see me as a person. I was just their ATM. And the moment I stopped dispensing cash, I became nothing to them. Well, maybe it was time to become nothing. My phone buzzed again with a message from my mom. Last chance, Sarah. Send the rent. I stared at the message for a long time. No, I love you. No, we're worried about you. Just a demand, naked and unadorned with any pretense of affection. Then, without hesitation, I blocked her. I blocked my dad. I blocked my cousin. Just like that, for the first time in years, I was free. Or so I thought, because the next day, my brother showed up at my door. The knock came at an ungodly hour, when the sun was barely peeking over the horizon. For a moment, I considered ignoring it. Maybe it was a neighbor or an early package delivery. Anything but what I knew it actually was. Another knock followed, louder and more insistent. The kind of knock that said the person wasn't going anywhere until they got what they wanted. I took a deep breath, braced myself, and opened the door. There stood my brother, his face contorted between anger and desperation. His clothes were wrinkled as if he'd slept in them. His eyes were bloodshot and wild. Are you serious, Sarah? His voice cut like a knife. What the hell is wrong with you? I kept my expression neutral. Good morning to you too. He scoffed, running fingers through his disheveled hair. Don't do that. Don't act like this isn't a big deal. You blocked everyone. Mom's freaking out. Dad's losing his mind. You're just, what? Cutting us off? Pretending we don't exist? I crossed my arms and leaned against the doorframe. I don't know, Tyler. Maybe I just got tired of being treated like an ATM. His jaw tightened. Oh my God. Not this again. Not this again? I laughed bitterly. I've been paying your rent for years. I've covered your utilities, your groceries, even your stupid streaming subscriptions. And the one time I say no, the one time I set a boundary, Mom calls me selfish, Dad says I'm unacceptable, and you show up at my door like I've committed some crime. His mouth opened like he wanted to argue, but no words came out. So I continued. And don't even try to pretend you care about me. I saw the video. His face went pale. Real fear flashed in his eyes. What video? I smiled coldly. You know exactly what video. Tyler shifted uncomfortably, looking away. Look, it wasn't serious, okay? We were just joking. You're being dramatic. Joking? My voice was quiet but razor sharp. You all sat around laughing, calling me a pathetic failure, saying I should be grateful for the privilege of paying your bills. Do you know what that feels like, Tyler? To hear your own family talk about you like that? He exhaled harshly, rubbing his face. Sarah, come on. No, you come on. You want money? Get a job? You want someone to take care of you? Find someone else because I'm done. Silence hung between us. For a moment, something raw flickered across his face, but it vanished quickly. You don't mean that, he muttered. I held his gaze. Yes, I do. Another pause. Then his expression hardened, twisting into something ugly. Fine, he spat. You want to be a selfish bitch? Go ahead, but don't come crawling back when you realize you have no one left. And with that, he turned and stormed off, slamming his car door before speeding away. I stood watching him go, chest tight but spine straight, because he was wrong. I did have someone left. I had myself, and for the first time in years, that felt like enough. As I closed the door, my phone buzzed again. My mother's name flashed on the screen, but I wouldn't answer. Not this time. I'd been at her mercy too long. Her demands, her guilt trips, the way she'd weaponized my sense of responsibility against me, manipulating me into surrendering everything just to keep her from falling apart. Not anymore. I turned my phone face down and walked away. The truth was, I was done being their financial safety net, done with the lies and manipulation. They'd never once asked how I was doing or considered the toll it took on me to constantly bear their burdens. I'd carried their weight for years. My mother's, my father's, my brother's, all all while they acted like I owed them for simply existing, like my life was just one endless repayment plan for their supposed sacrifices. No one had ever asked what I needed. No one had ever truly cared about me. Now I was taking control. The next morning, as I sat in my living room, the silence felt heavy. The weight of my decision was settling in, but there was no regret, just a strange sense of unfamiliarity. I'd spent so long catering to their needs that I hardly remembered what it felt like to put myself first. Then my doorbell rang. Tyler again. I could tell by the impatient, demanding knock. I opened the door slowly, keeping my expression neutral. "Sarah," he began, his usual arrogance gone, replaced by something almost pleading. "You need to listen to me." I didn't invite him in. I stood firmly in the doorway, arms crossed. "I don't need to listen to anything you have to say." He blinked, taken aback. "No, you don't understand. Mom's freaking out. Dad keeps calling me, asking what's going on. They don't know how to fix this. You've cut everyone off. You can't just leave us hanging like this." I scoffed. "Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think I was going to keep enabling you? Keep paying your rent and bills while pretending everything was fine? No, Tyler. I'm done being the family bank account. I don't care how much any of you beg." Anger flashed in his eyes. "You're acting like we've never done anything for you. Like we're all just users." I didn't flinch. "I know exactly what I've been to all of you. A cash machine. A free ride. And I'm done with it." His face contorted. "You can't just leave us hanging. You owe us, Sarah." The words stung, but they didn't break me. They only strengthened my resolve. I'd been waiting to hear those exact words, the naked truth finally spoken aloud. "I owe you? I've given you everything. I paid for your apartment, your groceries, your bills, while you sat back and watched me do it. And you want to talk about owing?" His fists clenched. "You'll regret this. You'll regret cutting us off." I couldn't help but laugh. "No, Tyler. You'll regret it, because I'm not the one who needs you anymore." Without waiting for his response, I slammed the door in his face. I could hear him swearing on the other side, but I didn't care. For the first time, his anger didn't scare me into compliance. It felt good, but I knew the drama wasn't over. This was just the beginning. They wouldn't let go easily, not when they had so much to lose. That night, my phone buzzed with a text from my dad. "We raised you, Sarah. Don't think you can just walk away from everything we've done for you. You're making a huge mistake. Come back. We'll talk. We'll fix this." I could almost hear the desperation beneath his commanding tone, the panic of someone watching their safety net disappear. I sat for a moment, phone in hand, considering what to do next. I could have ignored it. I could have blocked him too, but I had a better idea. I wasn't just going to block them. I was going to make them confront every lie, every moment they'd taken me for granted. Starting now, I went to my desk and opened my laptop. It was time to send them a message they'd never forget. I stared at my computer screen, fingers hovering over the keyboard. I wasn't going to let them waltz back into my life as if nothing had happened. I was done being their punching bag. This time, I was taking control. I gathered all my financial records, every payment I'd made for their bills, every bank transfer, every check I'd written to cover their emergencies, every time I'd canceled plans for myself because they needed me financially. Years of receipts, years of sacrifice, years of being drained dry while they took and took and took. I realized as I scrolled through these records that I could have bought a house by now, could have traveled the world, could have invested in my future. Instead, I'd invested in theirs, and they hadn't even had the decency to pretend to be grateful. I drafted an email with a note at the top. "Here's a detailed summary of everything I've done for you over the years. I'm done being your lifeline. I won't be your ATM anymore, and I refuse to let you make me feel guilty for choosing myself. Consider this my final statement. You don't owe me money, but you owe yourself the realization of how much I've sacrificed because I thought family was supposed to support each other, not drain each other dry." I attached all the receipts, all the bills, all the payments, every single transaction that proved how much I'd given and how little I'd received in return. I wanted them to see the numbers in black and white. I wanted them to face the magnitude of what they'd taken from me. Then I hit send, but I wasn't finished. I logged into the family group chat where they'd kept me on edge with their endless demands. I scrolled through years of messages, reading all the times they'd guilted me into helping them, all the family emergency messages that were really just normal expenses they expected me to cover, all the times they'd praised me publicly while privately draining my accounts. Then I did something unprecedented. I replied, "You all talk about what you've done for me, but you've forgotten how much I've given up for you. Here's the reality check. You never needed me. You just used me. I'm done. This is my last message. Don't contact me again." I sent it. The silence afterward felt almost sweet. I leaned back, letting the weight of my decision wash over me. For once, no calls, no guilt trips, no pretending they had any power over me. They could keep their manipulations and empty promises. I was free. Free to live my life, to save for my own future, to put myself first for once. Free from constantly checking my phone, wondering what financial crisis awaited me next. Just as I thought it was over, I received one final message from Tyler. "You're making a mistake, Sarah. You'll regret this. Family sticks together." I smiled to myself. He was trying to get under my skin, but it wouldn't work anymore. The threat was hollow. They had no power over me except what I gave them, and I was taking it all back. I didn't need them. I had my life, my freedom, and that was enough. I had dreams and goals I'd put on hold for far too long. Now I could finally pursue them without guilt, without interruption, without constantly emptying my pockets to fill theirs. It wasn't the dramatic confrontation I'd imagined. It was quieter, more deliberate, and infinitely more satisfying. I had taken control without anyone seeing it coming, and they no longer held any power over me. I turned off my phone for the night as peace settled over me. I didn't have to play their game anymore. I didn't have to keep sacrificing myself for people who didn't appreciate me. This wasn't revenge in the way I'd expected. It was liberation. Now I could finally breathe. Now I could live for myself, and that was the sweetest victory of all.